Good evening, and I welcome you, students. We have already told you what are solid students and what is the difference between crystalline and amorphous solids, and then we have discussed the classification of the solid students on the basis of different type of forces which were existing between them. So depending on the forces between the constituent particles, we have told you molecular solids, ionic solids, metallic solids, covalent network solids. And we have also told you what is the reason for the differences in the properties of this. The important point to note is constituent particles are having attractive forces between them. And when the nature of the attractive forces changes, students, their properties will change. So we have now understood, student. One important point about the crystal is that, student, if I compare crystals with amorphous solids, we have shown you that crystals, the main characteristic of crystal is there is a regular and repeating pattern. What is happening in crystal, students? We have told you crystals, student, crystalline substances or crystals. When I talk of crystal, students, there is a regular repeating, what do you see, regular repeating pattern, regular repeating pattern of constituent particles. So whatever particles make up the crystal, students, in a crystal there is a long range order. The particles will repeat in three dimensions, students, and will exhibit a repeating pattern. This is the most important point, student. Whereas in amorphous solid, you have seen only short range type of arrangements. Last time we told you. Therefore, student, there is a repeating three-dimensional. If I have two-dimensional things, what I'm saying, supposing these are the particles. These are the particles, students. This is a two-dimensional, what I'm showing, students. You can see that here these particles are showing regular arrangement. And if I join these lines, student, in this you are seeing there is a repeating unit. These are two-dimensional, what I have shown. So the pattern is repeating, student. They are at equal distances, particles, and this type of order will exist, long range order. Regular repeating pattern of particles is there. Similarly, in three dimension also, students, in a crystal we will have a three-dimensional crystal lattice will mean, student, there will be a regular repeating pattern of the particles in three dimensions, because most of the substances you have are three-dimensional, students. Therefore, student, we can say that how do we represent, how do I represent, student, this pattern of repeating particles on paper, student? So crystal lattice is a three-dimensional arrangement of points in space which is called crystal lattice. In order to represent the constituent particles, we will consider them as points. And these points, just like these points, I am representing on a paper, student. So diagrammatic representation of three-dimensional particles is called crystal lattice. Is called crystal lattice. So what will happen if it is a three-dimensional? What is happening, student? If I have another, if I say, student, something like this, layers, different layers are there, student. What you are finding now, as you can see, in three dimensions, student, some unit repetition is there. So this type of units are being repeated, student, in three dimension. A regular arrangement is there. The regular three-dimensional arrangement of points in space is called a crystal lattice. So first thing, we know what is a crystal lattice, student. Crystal lattice. So we are showing, student, by points. We are showing points as I have shown here. Each point in a lattice is called a lattice point or a lattice site. Each point is a particle, student, of which the crystal is made up of. And each point in a crystal lattice represent one constituent particle, which may be atom, molecule, or an ion, student. Lattice points are joined by straight lines to bring out the geometry of the lattice. Geometry of the lattice. So we understand now this. Important point to note is that the smallest portion of the crystal lattice, which when repeated in different generates the entire crystal lattice, that is called the unit cell. So what is a unit cell, student? If you consider a wall, student, your house has a wall. This wall is made up of a bricks. What brick? You have same type of bricks. When you repeat these bricks in three dimension, you will get a wall, student. It will have length, breadth, and height. So we can say brick is a unit cell of the wall. It is the smallest unit of which the wall can be made. So it is better to study the unit cell. The properties of the wall can be represented by the properties of the unit cell from which it has been made. Therefore, students, what we are saying that in general, you are simply saying that if I have students, if I represent something like this student, I can say that if this is a cell, student, this is a small cell. If I keep repeating this in three dimensions, I can generate the entire crystal lattice. There is a regular repeating of this unit cell. Therefore, when we will study the crystal, it is better to study, student, the unit cell in three dimensions, because the properties of the crystal can be characterized by the properties of a unit cell. The smallest portion, which on repetition will generate the entire crystal lattice. Just like making a wall in the house, I can find out how many bricks will be required to make the wall. If I know the dimension of one brick, then we can find everything about the wall, because it is constructed by the repetition of that unit cell which I am talking about. And student, you will see in the book also diagrams where they have shown the three-dimensional arrangement of the particles, and the how many types of the lattices will be possible. What I said, in a crystal lattice is nothing but a regular three-dimensional arrangement of points in space. What you are representing, student? A regular three-dimensional arrangement of points in space. There is a regular three-dimensional arrangement of points in space, student. That is what you talked of a crystal lattice, student. Crystal lattice. Now the question is, the smallest portion which on repetition will generate the entire crystal is called the unit cell. What I am saying, every crystal will have a unit cell, every crystal. And from this unit cell, I will be able to generate the entire lattice. I can generate the entire crystal lattice. So entire lattice can be generated, student, from this. And therefore, student, we must be able to characterize a unit cell. What are the characteristics of a unit cell? This is important. How will we characterize a unit cell is an important point, student. Here we have shown a picture of that. How many parameters are required for a unit cell? You have seen, I am talking of a three-dimensional figure, student, which is on the screen. You can see every unit cell will have, student, if there is a unit cell. And supposing, student, there are three axes I am showing. Three x, y, and z directions we are showing, students. What I am showing, there are three directions, student, x, y, and z. These are perpendicular to each other. And if I take, student, that there will be three edges, this has a unit cell, how many edges will be there? Let us see. If I consider this side, student, these are 1, 2, and 3, student. If I will make a unit cell out of it, how it will look like, you can draw it, student. If I draw these students, what will, so what I'm making student is a three-dimensional thing. So you can see that there are, how many edges will be there, student? If I call this as A, and if I call this as B, this I call as C. There are three edges, student. So in a three-dimensional figure like this, there will be three edges, student. How many? Three edges. One I'm saying A, other B and C, student. And in them, student, there will be three angles. Three angles, students. And what is important, that we are defining three angles opposite to A, opposite to side A, opposite to edge A. I am talking of an angle, student, which is called alpha. Alpha is the angle between opposite to A. I am saying to remember, alpha is the angle, student, opposite to A, opposite to edge A, and that means it will be angle between which two sides, students? B and C. B and C. To remember, you have A, B, and C. So when I write an angle opposite to A, then I say that angle is between B and C. Then I am talking of another angle, student, beta. Now beta, this is my B, opposite to B side. This is my angle beta, student, angle beta. This is angle is opposite to remember, angle opposite to B, student. This is my B, opposite to B. And you forget B now. This is the angle between A and C. This angle will be between A and C, students. A and C. A, B, C are the three edges. They are perpendicular to each other here, as we have shown. But they may or may not be perpendicular, because there will be different type of unit cells depending on the different edges, lengths, and different angles, alpha, beta, and gamma. I'm talking of three angles now. The third angle is gamma, student. Opposite to A is alpha, opposite to B is beta, and opposite to C is gamma. Opposite to C is gamma. So when I say opposite to C, forget about C, then this will be angle between, this is angle, student, opposite to C, and C you will forget, then it will be angle between A and B. Therefore, students, one thing is clear, what I am trying to say. A unit cell can be characterized by, how will I characterize a unit cell? By, if I know the unit cell, I can create the entire crystal lattice by repetition of the unit cell in three dimensional, students. So we will study the unit cells, and that will be characterized by six dimensions. Six dimensions are there, three edges and three angles. I'm saying A, B, C are the three edges. Opposite to A is alpha angle, opposite to B is beta angle, opposite to C is gamma angle. This is, we have taken for a convention, student. So we should know dimensions along three edges, A, B, and C. They may or may not be mutually perpendicular. Important point, student. In this diagram, I have shown they are perpendicular to each other, but different unit cells, they may or may not be perpendicular. These values will change, student. A, B, C, and alpha, beta, and gamma. Angles between edges, alpha between B and C. Alpha, I forget A here, B and C to remember. Beta, then you forget B, A, and C, and gamma between A and B. Thus, a unit cell is characterized by six parameters: A, B, C, alpha, beta, gamma. Okay. There will be different unit cells to represent different crystals, we are saying. But how many dimensions are there, student, to represent a unit cell? What I am saying, how to characterize a unit cell, student? We can characterize the unit cell. How many parameters? Six parameters are required. Which are those six parameters, students? three edges, three edges, students, A, B, and C, and second, three angles, three angles. What are those three angles? Alpha, beta, and gamma. There are three edges and three edges ABC and three angles alpha, beta, and gamma. So if we know these values, then we know the unit cell, and different crystals will have different values of these. How many are possibilities? We are going to see that. And students, these are some of the type of unit cells which we will see. One unit cell can be divided into categories. Unit cells can be divided into categories. Unit cells, students, can be divided into categories. What are those? One are called the primitive unit cells primitive and others are called student centered unit cells. Centered unit cells. ठीक है? And this depends when the constituent particles present. The crystal is made up of what? Crystal is made up of particles. Constituent particles can be atoms, ions, or molecules. You already know. What are the particles? Constituent particles. I'm saying the crystals contain constituent particles. They could be student atoms, ions, or even molecules. So these particles are there which make up the crystal. And one of the, what I'm saying, primitive unit cell. What is a primitive unit cell, students? Here you have seen this is a unit cell. You can see that this is a three-dimensional unit cell. In this case, the yellow line, yellow colored, these are showing the particles, constituent particles. We are showing the constituent particles as sphere, students. So in a primitive unit cell, what I'm saying, the constituent particles are present only at the corner positions of the unit cell. This is called the primitive unit cell. First one which I'm talking is primitive unit cell, students. As you have seen the picture, these are the particles. These are the particles, students. Particles. They are present where? Particles are present. The constituent particles, students, are present. Are present where? On the corner positions. On the corner positions of the unit cell. I hope you can see, student, these are the corners. These are the corner, student. These particles are present where? At the corners. There is no particle anywhere else. Neither these are the faces. There is no particle on the face. There is no particle on the edge, student, or center of the face. Nothing. Or in the body center. This is the body center. There is no particle here. So the simplest one which we have shown is the primitive unit cell. This contains only particles at the corner. Only particles at the corner. You have noted down, then we will proceed further, student. Now we are coming to the centered unit cells. What type of centered unit cells we will experience and we have, student? When unit cell contains one or more constituent particle present at position other than corner, students, in addition to those at the corners, it is called centered unit cell. The particles at the corner are still there, but there are additional particles at positions other than the corner positions. They are called centered. So here we are, first we are showing you body centered unit cell. We are representing particles by these points, student, like small spheres. Actually, they are not farther away from each other. They are touching each other. They are very close to each other. When packing takes place, they are packing as close as possible. Just for representation, in order to explain, we are showing it as small points. They are not points, students. They are closely packed and they could be touching each other. We will see what is the actual shape of all these, how they are touching in different types of cell. Body centered means what, student? In body, this is an example of body centered. You will see these are the particles. How many? There are 8 particles, student, at the 8 corners. Here we are showing, student, cubes, but as I said, the unit cell can have any 3 dimension: A, B, C, alpha, beta, gamma, could vary, student. So in BCC, student, what you are seeing in BCC, short form, body centered cubic lattice, student. In BCC, you are seeing there are 8 particles. There are 8 particles, constituent particles. At how many corners are there, student, in a 3 dimensional cube or cuboid or anything? 8 particles at 8 corners. At 8 corners of the unit cell. And in addition to that, there is one particle at the body center. One particle, student, at the body center. At the body center. We have shown them as points. Actually, what will we find that this will be touching, student, these 8 ones. And these, because it is inside the cube, it is inside this unit cell. And once I will put it in complete form, then you will see, as I said, packing is very close, student. These particles are not far away, as has been shown here. Just to show what type of cells are there, we are representing them like this. Actually, we will show you further when we will make more calculations about this. So first one is BCC. BCC will have 8 constituent particles at the 8 corners and one inside the cube body centered. Anytime you have doubt, student, you are sitting in a room. You are sitting in a room taking my class. See the cube room, student, 8 corners of the room you can see, and inside where I am sitting taking the class, student. This is the body center. Body center. Okay. Next one we are talking is, student, face centered, FCC, face centered cubic lattice, student. Face centered cell, face centered unit cell, student. In this, what is happening, student? There are 8 constituent particles, student. 8 constituent particles at the 8 corners. At the 8 corners, there are 8 corners of the unit cell. 8 corners of the unit cell, student. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there is a particle at the center of each face. One particle at the center of each face. How many faces the cube has? Can you see that? This is a this is the one face I have shown. This is the center of the face. This, you can see this line, student. This face. You can see this face. Another. This face, student. How many faces? If you are seeing sitting in a room, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. How many faces are there? 1, 2. Try to see. I am sitting here. Ground, the roof. 1, 2. Then 3 in my front, on the back 4, and to my right 5 and 6. So how many faces are there? You can see, student. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. There are 6 faces of the unit cell here. How many faces it has? 6 faces. If you have doubt, student, you can raise your hands and talk with me. So this is the FCC, face centered unit cell, student. You can see how many particles are there. One particle is there at each face and 8 are at the corner. One particle at the center of each face. You have 6 faces. FCC. Another one I'm showing, student. Another one you can see in your NCRT book also. They have given pictures of these, students. So these are atoms, ions, or molecules. The constituent particles are atoms, ions, or molecules. Now the next one we are seeing is end-centered unit cell. What is the story in this, student? These are the eight constituent particles. Eight constituent particles. ठीक है? Particles can be atoms, ions, or molecules. Right? That we already told you. At eight corners of the unit cell, student. Eight corners of the unit cell. And there is one particle at the two opposite pair of faces. ठीक है? One constituent particle is present. One constituent particle is present at the center. This is a center at the center of any two opposite faces. Any two opposite faces. Take any two opposite faces. This face and this face, they are opposite to each other, and you can see how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have taken these two opposite faces, student. This and this faces are opposite. Center at the center of this and this at the center of this. These are two opposite faces. Any two opposite faces. Any two opposite faces, student. So you have one particle here and one here. So you can see that this is called end-centered unit cell. End-centered unit cell. So I hope you are noting down everything. Student, you should note down, pay attention to each and every word we are saying, because this any question can be asked in the paper, student. Okay. And student, it has been found that total of 7 types of unit cells are formed. How many? It's a question of student mathematics now, geometry, that try to make unit cells. How many are possible? As you will see, student, here, basically, there with the different characteristics, you have A, B, and C. You have three angles, alpha, beta, and gamma. Total, how many? 6 parameters. There are 6, 3 edges and 3 angles. 7 type of unit cells. 7 types of unit cells. Unit cells can be formed, student. And depending on the value of A, B, C, alpha, beta, and gamma, student, gamma. 7 primitive unit cells and their angles A, B, C, alpha, beta are possible, which we have shown here. How many? 7 types. Cubic. A question has been asked on this. We'll tell you that we have to learn, student, what is the value of A, B, C, alpha, beta, and gamma for this. And but you are reading chemistry in inorganic chemistry, etc. You have seen these values. This exists in the cubic unit cell, tetragonal unit cell, orthorhombic, monoclinic sulfur, or like that you have already said, hexagonal, rhombohedral, or trigonal and triclinic. These are the 7 types of unit cells. And we have shown in the picture, student. The variation will be where? Where is the variation in these unit cells? In A, B, C, and angles. What angles we are using, students? Alpha, beta, and gamma. I already told you, opposite to A is alpha. That alpha will always be between B and C, between B and C edges. Beta is opposite to B, then you forget B, then this will be between A and C, to remember. Gamma is the angle opposite to C. If I forget C, then gamma is the angle between A and B. Between A and B. This is how I remember. Therefore, student, there will be variation in the 3 edges If all these are equal, then what is the problem? Then it is the same unit cell. There has to be variation, student. And we have shown cubic. What is cubic? Here A is, this is my A, this is my B, this is C. The three are equal. And the three angles alpha, beta, gamma 90 degree. Where are those three angles? We have told you 1, 2, and 3. Alpha, beta, and gamma. These are the three angles. Opposite to A, alpha angle, opposite to B, beta angle, opposite to C, gamma angle, to remember. So three angles, student, you can take side, any side. Then what you have? Up. So let me put it this way more, rather than this. Uh, Let me put it this way, not like this, student, because I am drawing these axes now. If I am drawing the axis, student, this is my A, okay? This is my axis A, this is my axis B, this is my axis C, A. Opposite to A, what angle you have? Alpha. Opposite to B, what angle you have? Beta. And opposite to C, what you have? Gamma. These alpha, beta, gamma here 90 degree. A is equal to, this A is equal to B, B is equal to C. That is called cubic. Cube, you know, you have seen a cube? Cube. This is a cube actually, that is why it is called cubic. Now in tetragonal, what you see in tetragonal? The three angles are alpha, beta, and gamma are 90 degree, students, 90 degree. You can draw any axis. If I take this axis, okay, and what you are getting, students, this. So you can see A, B, and C value. A is equal to B, but B is not equal to C. See, this length is longer. This length is longer. A is equal to B, but B is not equal to C. And the three angles are 90 degree. That is called tetragonal, cubic, tetragonal. Orthorhombic, A is not equal to B, B is not equal to C. All the three sides, three edges are different. See, the three edges are different. They are not equal, but the angles are still 90 degree. Orthorhombic. A is not equal to B, B is not equal to C, but three angles are still equal. Then rhombohedral, what has happened? The three sides are equal, but you have seen, I have just pushed students this one, slanted it, apply some pressure on one of the edges. What happens? One of the angle is not equal to 90 degree. Gamma is not equal to 90 degree. The two alpha is equal to beta, but gamma is not equal to 90 degree. The angles are not now 90 degree. Okay? The three angles are not equal to 90 degree in this case. What has happened? And here what has happened? Alpha is equal to beta is equal to 90, gamma is 120 degree. This is a hexagonal. And one of the side is also not equal. A is equal to B, B is not equal to C. Monoclinic, the three sides are different, but the two angles are 90, gamma is not 90. Triclinic, the three sides A, B, C not equal, and the three angles are also not equal. So there are 7 types of the unit cells, which are given in your book also, student. You can see them in the NCERT also. 7 types of unit cells. A question has been put up on this. We will tell you what type of question, student. Is there a table which is given in your NCERT book, student, and we have taken that table from the book, and to tell you what type of examples along with the example, student, and what are the various values of A, B, C, and alpha, beta, gamma. If I take cubic, student, cubic crystal, the A is equal to B is equal to C. I told you 3 edges. There are 3 edges which we told you, student. A, B, and C. We have already drawn it for you, student. A, B, and C, students. Angle we have already, opposite to A, this angle is alpha, opposite to B is beta, opposite to C. These are the 3 angles. They are 90 degree. And the examples, NaCl and zinc blende copper. They exist in cubic crystal form. Cubic crystal form. In cubic also there are 3 types of variations. The centered unit cell, I told you student, three type of unit cell. One is primitive, other is body centered, and third is face centered. What is primitive? There will be constituent particle only at the corner. Only at the corner. What is body centered? There will be eight particles at the eight corner and one in the body center. One in the body center. What is face centered? There will be eight particles at the corner and at the center of each face there will be a particle. There are six faces which we have shown. So there are three here. How many? One, two, three students. ठीक है. In tetragonal, A is equal to B, B is not equal to C, and the three angles are equal. And example student, white tin oxide. Sometimes in the paper they can ask you examples. Why? Because this information is given in your book, student. Anything which is given in NCERT book can become a question, so we must learn it. There are certain things we have to learn, student, because this chapter involves lot of visualization and imagination, students. Three-dimensional pictures are there. I don't have anything to show to you. So whatever I'm drawing on the board is, student, I'm talking of crystal lattices. They are three dimensions. So we have to imagine, visualize in this chapter, solid state, very especially. And learn, student, we have to learn, and because questions are there from this part of the table, therefore we must learn it. And in tetragonal, there are two possibilities. One is primitive. How many? One and two. Only two possibilities exist: primitive and body. Orthorhombic, what happens? A is not equal to B. B. Examples of orthorhombic. The three angles are still 90 degrees. Rhombic sulfur. You have heard about rhombic sulfur when we talked of allotropes of sulfur. Allotropes of sulfur. Then KNO3 and barium sulfate, they exist in orthorhombic, but there are four. How many types? Primitive, body centered, FCC, and end centered. Four here. Hexagonal, only one primitive. Only one. Important point. Such questions are there which has only one. Hexagonal and rhombohedral. Hexagonal and rhombohedral, we have said only one. One and one. A equal to B, B not equal to C, alpha, beta 90, gamma 120, graphite, ZNO. Examples. Examples are important, student. Rhombohedral also only one, primitive. Or trigonal, A equal to B equal to C, but alpha, beta equal to gamma, not 90 degree. Example, cinnabar is an important ore of mercury, calcite is an ore of limestone, CaCO3. Monoclinic has two. One, two possibilities in monoclinic: primitive centered cell or end centered. A is not equal to B, not equal to C, alpha is equal to gamma, and beta is not 90 degree. Examples: monoclinic sulfur. Here I talked of rhombic sulfur, orthorhombic. That is why it called rhombic. Monoclinic sulfur, monoclinic, in the sulfur chapter you have studied monoclinic allotropes sulfur. And this is a, for this student, alpha is equal to gamma 90, beta is not 90 degree, and sodium sulfate decahydrate. Again triclinic, one primitive only, A is not equal to B, not example, potassium dichromate. Potassium dichromate crystals are triclinic, student. Copper sulfate, 5 water molecules, and this is your boric, H3BO3, boric acid. So these are some of the examples along with the type. How many total it becomes, student? If I count all this, how many it becomes? 3 here, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. This is how much? 4. How many are these, students? 4 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 2 here, and 1 here. What is the total number? 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Total how many possibilities are there, student? How many possibilities are there? How many you will see, student, now total in this? 14. So students, what you can see now, there are only 14 types of lattices. These are called 14 Bravais lattices. Bravais lattices student. Bravais is a was a mathematician student who gave these shapes, geometrical shapes of this. So the name has been put up on that basis. 14 possible three-dimensional lattices was given by Bravais, is a French mathematician. Bravais, they are called now Bravais lattices. So total 14 possible three-dimensional lattices are there. Only total how much student? If you count all this total, what is the value which is coming? What is the answer, student? Total three dimensional, how many total three dimensional lattices are possible? Only 14. And Brevis, a mathematician, French mathematician, gave these, whatever we are telling to you, the pictures. You can see the 14 Brevis lattice pictures in the NCRT book, students. So these, there can be no more than 14. Whatever compounds or solid you see, they have to fall in one of the 14 category. Clear up to now, students? Up to now, any doubt? Okay. So we can say that what we are talking about is crystalline substances, student. What we are talking is about crystals, crystalline substances. And they have, every crystal we will characterize by a unit cell, student. And unit cell has got six dimensions, six parameters. Every unit cell has six parameters. A, B, C, and three angles, alpha, beta, and gamma. If we give the value of these, we are able to get how many, along with the centered unit cell, 14 crystal fit into one of the 14 recognized lattice arrangements. They are called Brevis lattices. These are the primitive cubic cell, body centered cubic, face centered cubic. In cubic I showed you three: primitive tetragonal, body centered tetragonal, we showed you two here. Primitive orthorhombic, base centered orthorhombic, body centered orthorhombic, face centered here. See, maximum four. In orthorhombic, how many? Four types of lattices. Four types of lattices. Four types of lattices. In which case, student? Orthorhombic. Question sometimes is asked which type of the lattice has maximum number of Brevis lattices. Here, ortho orthorhombic has four types. And primitive monoclinic, base centered monoclinic, these are two, monoclinic two, triclinic only one, rhombohedral one, hexagonal one. So total 14. Total 14 Brevis lattices. Here we have shown the picture, the four orthorhombic lattices, unequal side angles between faces of 90 degree. These are three possibilities of cubic, tetragonal, and four orthorhombic. A is not equal to B is not equal to C, and alpha, beta, gamma 90 degree. This is primitive, only particles at the corner. What is this? Is a BCC, and centered and face centered. So in ortho, in important point, student, a question can be asked on this. In orthorhombic, student, you have what type of lattices? You have primitive, which is also called simple cubic. You have BCC, body centered. You have FCC, and you have end centered. And centered. Four possibilities are there in orthorhombic. See, in tetragonal we have shown two. In cubic you have three. You have three, students. This is primitive, BCC and FCC. BCC and FCC. What is this? Primitive, body centered, and face centered. Primitive, BCC, and FCC in the case of cubic. And in tetragonal, what we have shown student, 8 particles at the 8 corner, that is primitive, and 1 particle at the center and 8 on the corner, this is BCC. See that? I hope you will can appreciate the pictures have been shown. For this reason, question could be asked student, which has the largest crystal lattices orthorhombic. It has got what? Primitive, BCC, and centered, and FCC. All the four. All the four. And four orthorhombic lattices, unequal sides. Sides A is not equal to B, is not equal to C. The three sides are unequal. Three sides, you can see unequal, but angle, important point, alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma 90 degree. All the three angles are 90 at right angles to each other. Student, points to be noted. These are the points to be noted, student, very important. Here I have shown two monoclinic lattices. Monoclinic are two. What is this arrangement? What is this arrangement? Two monoclinic, 8 particles at the corner, that is primitive, and this is end centered. Primitive and centered, student. Primitive, what is this? Only on the opposite faces, center of the opposite faces, you see 2 particles. And in this case, student, monoclinic. How many? How many monoclinic? Only two. Two are possible, student. Which one? Primitive and centered. And unequal sides of two faces have angles. The three sides are unequal. A is not equal to B, is not equal to C. And alpha is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree, but beta is greater than 90 degree. One of the angles is not 90 degree. These are the things we should learn and remember, because there could be a question on that. Every word I write, every line I speak, you must make your own note, student, because a question could be given. As you see, the content and amount is very large, student, and by the time exam comes, we will forget if we don't write, student. Writing is very essential. Your notes, personal notes, will help you a lot, student. You are going to get all video recorded videos of what we are teaching to you, but you should keep a track, pay attention, student. Visualization, imagination is a part of this chapter. Whatever I can't see, student, I have to imagine, I have to visualize, I have to learn. Certain memory part is very essential in this topic, because there will be questions like that. A lot of students find this chapter a quite difficult chapter, because this involves student imagination and visualization, and they can't see the models exact. Here we are trying to show on a piece of paper, student, all these three-dimensional things. And you see hexagonal lattice, one side is different in length to the other. To the marked angles and two faces are at 60 degree. Rhombohedral lattice, all sides of equal length, angles on two faces, and triclinic. The three hexagonal lattice, one only. Rhombohedral, one only. We have all sides of equal length, angles on two faces are less than 90 degree, and triclinic. And this is our triclinic, student. So here are the diagrams and pictures. Visualization helps us, student, in understanding some certain topics more easily. So what we are trying to give you visual display, because it helps, student, it helps. So we are giving you visual pictures also in this case, so that you can see and appreciate, student, because this is three-dimensional objects, and numbers are important, as we are giving the values of the student, and length angles on two faces are less than 90 degree. These are the points to be noted, student. Here in triclinic, unequal sides ABC are unequal angles with none equal to 90 degree. Even angles, I have given a table of that. Table is given, which is also given in your book, student. a question could be put up from this table. As you can see, we must go through it and remember what is the difference between cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, and the three edges and three angles. Sometimes question can be asked on examples because they are a part of your book and the book is your syllabus. Always I say any table given in NCRT book, any graph given in NCRT book, any formula given in NCRT book, any word written in NCRT book could be a question in the paper. So we can't neglect it, student, as per the requirement. If we forget, and that question could be there in the paper. There is nothing to hurry, student. Take your time, revise and learn. Revise and learn. That's what we am saying, student. So, student, in today's we are giving you a lot of visualization and other things. So, student, what I am trying to show you, what are the key takeaway of today's lecture, student? We have defined what is a lattice, student, what is a unit cell, student, and what are the characteristics of the unit cell. What are the characteristics of the unit cell, student? How many types of unit cells are there, and what are the primitive and centered unit cells, and seven types of lattices, and 14 types of Brevis lattices, Brevis lattices, and examples. So I hope you have gone through this and understood, students. So this is the end of the second part of the solids. Then we will go to the next part in the next class, and we'll continue more. Some density and other questions are going to be there, and in defects, etc. Therefore, I will see you in my next class. Okay, good night and bye bye.